You guys are drinking, taking shots, so passionate about Hawaiiverse, and you're on the side like, okay, Taylor, I think he gets it.
Yeah, I was like, Taylor, you're gonna scare him away, man.
He's like, no, but it's so pono. It is so pono.
So that we're not just recycling the funds in Hawaii's economy, but we're bringing more an influx.
Taking that mainland money.
Yes, there's 4 degrees in business. I tell everybody, it's a lot easier than you think.
I don't know. Some people can't even get 1 degree.
It's actually indecisiveness, I would say.
Hawaiiverse is our life, really. We
Literally,
breathe, eat, sleep, breathe Hawaiiverse. This podcast is brought to you by Ideate Studios, a for-rent commercial soundstage at the Entrepreneur Sandbox here in the heart of Kaka'ako. Whether making a movie, commercial, music, photography, or a podcast, check out Ideate Studios for your next digital media production. And if you're a nonprofit, be sure to ask about Ideate community discounts. For more info on Ideate or to book the studio, visit ideatestudios.org. How's it, everybody? Welcome to Keep It Aloha with Kamaka, a podcast that keeps it aloha by creating a coupon directory and e-commerce store specifically for local businesses. I feel like I know something like that. Oh yeah, it's called Hawaiiverse. They got a free app that you can download today on the App Store, and it's super easy to use. You guys should definitely go check it out. It's pretty darn awesome. As you all know, this used to be called the Hawaiiverse podcast, but now we are Keep It Aloha. It's a saying my friend and I used to say when we were making YouTube videos back in the day, and I'll talk more about it as we get into this episode, but right now, let's go introduce our awesome guest. Our guest today is a Japanese local boy from the Big Island of Hawaii. He is the CEO and co-founder of Hawaiiverse, the largest online coupon directory, which was voted as the HVCA's 2022 People's Choice of Startup Paradise. He is also the CEO of Kushi Media, an agency that helps local businesses scale using targeted online ads and an automation capture system used by global high-growth companies. This entrepreneur also co-founded and served as the chief operating officer at Life DNA, a genetic-based health and wellness company. He also served as a program director at Blue Startups and operation manager at Hawaii Angels. There, he was a key factor in vetting over 2,000 companies and investing in over 60, which gave him an inside look at the startup landscape. He has also been featured in articles by multiple publications such as High Luxury Magazine and Hawaii Business Magazine, and was a finalist as Tech Entrepreneur of the Year in Hawaii. He also has 4 degrees in entrepreneurship, management, finance, and international business. Okay, we get it. He's impressive. And he is also my good friend and business partner. His name is Jared Kushi. Aloha, Jared. Welcome to the podcast here at Ideate Studios.
Wow, thank you for having me, Kamaka. That's making me blush, man. I don't even know where you found all that stuff.
You wanted me to keep it short, but you've done so much that I couldn't not include all of that. And you're a very humble and modest guy, but now I get to brag about you, so you have no choice.
Oh man, well, I appreciate it, man. But that's why we brought you on board,
Yeah,
so I don't need to do this.
Yeah, as the face. And we can talk about all of that. We'll get into Hawaiiverse because I know people probably have so many questions. Before we get into it, as we always start off every episode, regardless if it's the Hawaiiverse podcast or Keep It Aloha, where are you from, where are you grad, and what was it like growing up?
All right, yeah. So, as you know, I'm from the Big Island. Grew up in Hilo, just like you, Kamaka, and our awesome Hawaiiverse team. Grad from Waikea, so we're kind of rivals a little bit.
Yeah. I played for Hilo High. Yeah, I live in Waikea though, so
yeah.
We actually live close, not too far from each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So I live in Waikea as well, and it was, I had a great upbringing. I have a really solid family that I really appreciate. Amazing friends that that I'm friends with till this day. And I mean, you know how it is on the Big Island. It's kind of a different vibe. It's everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And what I really like about what I think is really different from maybe Oahu is like, you can't really get away with things, which is a good thing. You're kind of brought up in that sense. So otherwise, everyone's going to know the next day, right? If you do something bad, and reputation is the only thing you have. So definitely. I think that really helped us out a lot. Yeah.
And I think that helps with us doing business together too. In the beginning, it's like, at first, it was just like this passion project that we all started, and people would be like, oh, wait, do you trust these people? I'm like, they're all from Hilo. Like, I know, like, I just met them, but like, we became friends so quick. And then, we had a great working partnership as well. And it's so easy when, you're from the same hometown. You know how it goes. culturally, even though you're not Hawaiian, you still, we still have the same values and mindset. So, I credit it to growing up in Hilo, on the Big Island.
Yeah, I think definitely has a lot to do with it, and I know that's funny that you mentioned it's like people think we knew each other for years.
I know.
Like, oh, you guys are like grew up together. It's like, no, I actually just met him through the Race to 50K. And
yeah, exactly.
Helping him with his book,
Yeah, and let's talk about how we met a little after. But I want to know what were you into growing up? Were you always this business whiz kid, or what did you do?
Yeah, not at all actually. So for a while, I actually had no idea what I wanted to do. Growing up, my main focus was honestly sports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, school was great and all, and had decent grades, but I mean, sports is what I kind of lived for, So
which sports? I know we still haven't even played basketball yet. We talk about it all the time.
So I played almost every sport growing up. Ironically, except for soccer, which like everyone plays growing up. But yeah, you name it, I probably played it. But the main sports growing up is going to be where I played high school: golf, volleyball, and basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up, I also played baseball and tennis and some other things. But really, that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, get good grades, and luckily, I could do that while focusing on sports. I mean, sports and girls, I guess, right?
In Hilo, I mean, there's not too many choices, so it's like everybody dates the same people, the same people that your friend dated, or you're dating your friend's ex or something, or cousin or whatever. That's pretty much how it is growing up in a small town like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's good and bad, right?
Yeah.
There's pros and cons.
Yeah, so after graduating from Waiakea, you went to Oahu to go to university.
Yes. Yeah, came up to Manoa.
Okay, and how and why would you ever get 4 degrees? Was it just to flex on everybody?
No, not at all. I actually never talk about this for this reason. So it's funny because, yes, I did 4 degrees in business, but I tell everybody it's a lot easier than you think, put it that way.
I don't know. Some people can't even get 1 degree.
No, in a sense where it's actually indecisiveness, I would say.
Okay.
It's like, I went in a finance major, I believe, and I think international business, because I was like, oh, international, I want to travel and stuff. Quickly found out I did not care for finance. But I was lucky that I was in the Shiler program from freshman year. Normally it's your junior year, so I was really lucky to get into that. So then I added on entrepreneurship, which is a brand new degree at the time. And then after everything was all said and done, I literally needed like 1 or 2 more classes to get my management degree. So it's like, why not? Let's just get it already,
Yeah.
It did take me 5 years, so nothing against people going to college for a little longer than...
That's 1.25 degrees a year.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Stop it.
I got 1 degree in 5 years.
Well, hey, that's all you need, really.
Yeah, but really? I studied abroad a couple times, and I know you studied abroad as well, right?
I did. I studied abroad in Australia.
Yeah,
and that was the time of my life. My gosh. I feel like, nothing against college, of course, but as an entrepreneur, I've probably gained more in that 6 months there than the 4.5 years in college.
Why is that?
So in particular I can only talk for business people, right? I personally think just getting out there, networking, and learning on your own is like the best way to do it, really. Of course, if you're getting a degree in law or health or things, you have to go to school for that. But for business, like, I'd be lying if I said I feel like I used a lot of my degree in terms of what I'm doing now,
Yeah.
So internships is really great, and just getting as much experience as possible and getting your feet wet.
Yeah.
I mean, what I learned is there's no better time to start a business than in college. Like, when are you gonna have the chance where you're not worried about funds or somewhere to live or all these other responsibilities, and you have all the support from like the Shiler College of Business, whoever that want to see you succeed. So, if I could go back, I'd probably start a business a lot sooner, actually.
Okay, so when did you start your first business? Because you graduated from Manoa, and then you went to work for Blue Startups?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, kind of. I was already working for Blue Startups like my senior year,
Okay.
or my last year in college, as a program associate, I believe.
Yeah. And what is Blue Startups?
Yeah, so Blue Startups is an accelerator program here in Hawaii run by Chanel Farnsworth, who's amazing, and Maya Rogers and Hank Rogers, the Tetris people.
Yeah. Also past podcast.
Yeah,
guest.
super impressive.
That's how we got Hank, through Jared.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Blue Startups is basically the easiest way to explain. It's kind of like the Shark Tank of Hawaii,
Oh, okay.
maybe. So we at the time, we were investing in about 6 to 10 companies every 6 months and putting them through a 14-week accelerator program where they see mentorships, workshops, and meet investors and stuff like that. So kind of like a jumpstart program, let's call it. So we would invest money in them, up to $100,000 at the time, and we would take some equity in the company and help them throughout the business.
And you did that with about 2,000 companies and invested in 60? About 60?
Yeah. So I mean, I think I was there for 7 or 8 cohorts. Each cohort, I think, had about 300 or more applicants.
Wow.
So when we say vetted 2,000, we go through every application basically.
Yeah.
And then we'd have an interview process with multiple interviews.
That's why you're so good at interviews. He does all the interviews for our interns and all that. For Hawaiiverse.
Interviews.
For Hawaiiverse.
Yeah. Or getting interviews.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Doing interviews, that's just
I'm
your
learning
job.
so much. Everything's like falling like Tetris right now, and like the puzzle pieces is just
coming perfectly together. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So after that, you decided to leave and start your own company, right?
Yeah. So, for a while, I was there for 3 years, I think 3.5 years. Everyone was asking me, all our investors, mentors, like, hey, Jared, like, what's your next move? I know you want to start your own thing. And to be totally honest, I'm not a big idea guy. And I think a lot of people get worried about like, oh, I know I want to start a business, but I don't know what in. But that's okay. That's what you have business partners for. That's what you have friends for. And in reality, I think business really comes down to execution. Ideas are dime a dozen. I mean, how many people have you talked to that was like, oh, I thought about Uber like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, right? I mean, I'm sure thousands of people did, but it came down to who could execute it, right? So it really comes down to execution. And so basically, right after Blue Startups, a lot of people were saying, hey, either get your master's or, something. And I was like, there's no way. Blue Startups was like my master's degree program, got to learn so much, open up my network, meet all these amazing investors. So basically, I decided to leave to start my own business, Life DNA, with my business partners, Cyril and Steve. Steve was actually a lead mentor at Blue Startups. So like without Blue Startups, I would have never met him.
Yeah.
And he's our main investor, So it all kind of just started falling into place. And Cyril, funny story, is I actually met him studying abroad in Australia.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So we were best friends in Australia for 6 months. And after that, like we kept in touch, but we didn't like hang out for, I guess, probably 4 or 5 years at the time. But we always knew as soon as we met, like we wanted to do some sort of business together. And he even applied for Blue Startups a couple of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he did fairly well. But long story short, I knew he was the one to bring on as a business partner, and for what we were doing, right? So we started as supplements based on your DNA.
Okay.
So like vitamins based on your DNA and outside environmental factors.
So like, for example, if I'm taking zinc or I don't know, let's turmeric, but my body doesn't absorb it correctly, I have to take other things or something? Is that what it is?
That's part of it.
Okay.
That's part of it. So we're looking at certain SNPs within your genetics, and based upon peer-reviewed journals in the past, they can correlate certain deficiencies to certain things. So it's not necessarily seeing what you're taking and making it better. It's kind of just looking at your genetics and your outside environmental factors and putting all that together to come up with your kind of custom supplement.
Oh, okay. So say I have an iron deficiency, I'm anemic, you would be able to tell that, like getting blood work done?
No, so no blood work.
Oh,
no blood
okay.
work. So that's the beauty about genetics. It's kind of like we're kind of trying to foresee in the future and give you things to prevent things from happening.
Oh, preventative care more than...
Yeah, more preventative
more
care.
proactive than reactive.
Exactly.
See, I learned from this guy.
Smart guy, That's why I hired him. No, I'm just kidding. That's why he's a business partner. But yeah, it was a crazy journey, honestly. It went from supplements to we even had our own skincare line based upon your DNA. And
Wow.
it had their own name on every bottle. So we went through the whole manufacturing process, everything. But, in all honesty, I think we're a couple years a little too early. That's also when Theranos was happening. I don't know if you heard of them. There's like
I know Thanos.
Oh yeah, he would know
Yeah, he
Thanos.
used a lot of stones.
No, with Theranos, it was they have like the Hulu series on them and everything.
Oh, wow.
It's the lady who kind of bamboozled a bunch of really high level individuals from political to big time investors. She raised hundreds of millions, I believe, and she was saying with one drop of your blood, they could basically tell everything about it, like all your data and whatnot. But it was a hoax.
Wow. Like that one, there was that one documentary where they had these two guys, they did the party on the island or something. And do you remember that? What is it called?
Fire Festival.
Fire Festival. Yeah, right?
That's the
crazy
one.
how people do that.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't think they do it on purpose. Or maybe that one they did, but I think they truly believe in what they're doing. And they believe in it so much where they're willing to go to certain lengths to try to make it happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's kind of where you end up, right?
So what happens to all the money? Do you have to give it back or?
Well, she's in jail now. She's in jail now, and I think she does owe X amount of money, and that she'll probably pay for the rest of her life. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
But long story short, people and investors were a little scared of like DNA, anything to do with like that health thing because of that.
Oh, wow. Dang.
But it also makes the journey that much sweeter because so many twists and turns with Life DNA that we learned so much. And today, we're so much different than what we started as. You can see it from the beginning to now. And we don't really do our own products anymore. So we don't do supplements or skincare. We just do genetic reporting or health reports, right? So we'll tell you what you're more deficient in or more likely to be deficient in or certain things. And then we're focusing on empowering the world's strongest brands. So we're kind of like the back end engine, let's call it, for companies like, Sun Warrior or any of these larger health companies, basically.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
it's a cool business.
It is a cool business.
And it's Hawaii based. So that's the beauty of it.
I love it.
Everything I'm about is like Hawaii.
Yes. And, that's what Hawaiiverse was started as, a local business. And it's funny that you say that, it started, like Life DNA started as something else. And now it's, this other thing that you're doing. And that's kind of like our evolution in Hawaiiverse too. We're always trying to pivot and, do different things. But right before you started Hawaiiverse and you found me, you started Kushi Media, right?
Yes.
And that's your baby.
That's my, well, now Hawaiiverse is my baby.
Yeah, your other baby, your second baby.
Yeah. So Kushi Media is...
play on your last name?
Yes, play on my last name. My last name is Kushi. So Kush is kind of my nickname growing up. And, we did a lot of marketing for Life DNA. And I kind of wanted to bring that experience back to Hawaii. Or I wouldn't say back because Life DNA is in Hawaii. But we did the whole world, But I want to help local companies run ads correctly and do it as professional as possible within their budget. And that's why I started Kushi Media.
And I know you use a lot of your expertise from Kushi Media for Hawaiiverse as well. So it's like you are running two businesses simultaneously, but Kushi Media is like what pays the bills, right?
Yeah. For the most part, Kushi Media is what pays the bills, even to this day right now.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird balance, that I'm trying to figure out. Because it's like, of course, I could use more financially, be more secure, but then it takes away time from Hawaiiverse. That's my passion,
Yeah.
So, but it's been great. It's been really great. I have a small team at Kushi Media, and we're able to help a handful of, or even more, local companies. But that's also what led to Hawaiiverse, because I was like, hey, I'm doing this for, a few companies, maybe a dozen or whatever at the peak. But I can only do so much, right? If with Hawaiiverse, we can help thousands of companies, maybe even more, right? And all local companies. So I know we're going to get into that, but...
Yeah, let's get into it right now.
It just grows into itself.
Yeah, let's get into it right now, because that is why we're here. Everything people are looking at, they're listening to is because of Hawaiiverse. This friendship is because of Hawaiiverse. Like, it's created so many opportunities for us, for other people, and for me personally, growing my own brand.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just like Hawaiiverse is our life, really. We
Literally,
breathe, eat, sleep, breathe Hawaiiverse.
And I think that's one of our advantages.
Yeah,
really,
exactly. Because we actually love what we do.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't do it for free for the first couple of years if we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's tell people the story of Hawaiiverse.
All right. Yeah. Where do we begin?
Yeah.
So,
can we get some romantic music going in?
yeah. Come on,
something
Jordan.
like a violin or something.
No, but
It's
okay.
happy violin, not sad violin.
All right. Yeah, we'll jump into it. So it started basically in the beginning of the pandemic. Our business partner Taylor Martin, his wife Callie Martin, basically had a Facebook group since 2016. He's a videographer. He runs Taylor Martin Media. He's a web developer. So
also from Hilo.
Yeah, also from Hilo. All of us are from Hilo.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. They're amazing. But basically, it was just kind of photos, cool stuff, Hawaii stuff. And over time, they grew about 20,000, I think, followers. But it wasn't really doing anything, right? Besides
sharing cool photos and
exactly,
videos.
Exactly. Yeah. And when the pandemic hit and I went back to Hilo for about 10 weeks because we couldn't go anywhere else. Right? I was like, I'd rather be with my family. I met up with Taylor and he told me about this and we started brainstorming like, how can we leverage this audience to help as many people as possible? And that's really where Hawaiiverse was born because we're like, what do businesses like or what do people like? Coupons. So I started off as a coupon director and we started with just 40 companies in retail, restaurants, nonprofit and service companies in little old Hilo and it just kind of exploded.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so much fun. I mean, you were there in the first meetings, right?
Yeah.
And remember when Taylor was talking to you? Like, Pono. He kept saying Pono.
Yeah,
right?
I could tell the whole story.
Yeah. You should probably tell that story. But
yeah. So that's how you and Taylor decided to think of Hawaiiverse, and then you guys were looking for a host or like someone to promote it, right?
Yeah. I mean, basically, since Taylor's a videographer, our first thought was, besides the coupon directory, so you can build something amazing, but it's no guarantee anyone's going to go to it, right? So to reignite the social media and also to help more of the businesses and whatnot, we're starting let's call it a video series called Hawaiiverse Spotlight. And we was also looking for a representative that represents what we believe with Hawaiiverse and helping local businesses. And you're literally the first person that just popped into my head. You know, although we only knew each other for like maybe 6 to 12 months at the time, I was like, Taylor,
no, less,
maybe
way
less, maybe less.
Yeah.
I was like, Taylor, I got the guy. You know, and we reached out to you. You came over, and that's where the story starts.
Yeah. So I was also stuck in Hilo during the pandemic because I was doing my race to 50K where I paid off my student loans in a year, just doing a bunch of odd jobs. So I started in Hilo, went to Oahu. I was doing my thing on Oahu, came back for a wedding one weekend. Josh Tori's wedding.
Yep,
Josh and Nissa. Yeah. Aloha to them. And then I was like taking out trash, helping set up. I was just like doing whatever they needed me to do at the wedding. And I guess that's when you started following me, right? And then when I was stuck in Hilo, I came to Hilo in March and I was doing my race to 50K. We couldn't fly. All the flights were canceled. You couldn't go between islands. So I was also stuck in Hilo. And a lot of my job for the race to 50K was going out in the community, helping people with different things. And I was like, I can't do that now because it's not safe. So I had to pivot and think of other ways to make money. And I thought, it would be really cool to write a book. And I had a blog while I was in Madagascar for 3 years. So I thought, why don't I have all the content right there? I just have to put it into book form. So I told everybody on social media, hey, I want to create a book and sell it to pay off my student loans. I just need somebody to help me with the design because I have a lot of strengths, but my weakest part, I guess, I don't know, weakest strength of, can you say that? My weakest strength, my weakness.
Right? I was like, wait a minute, where are we going with this?
My weakness is just like art. Like I cannot draw. I can think of ideas, but I can't put them on paper. So that's what I struggle with.
Ironically, same.
Yeah. But I'm just always the idea guy. I have all these crazy ideas. You know, I'm like, I come with you guys with all these ideas I have. So I posted it on my story and you messaged me saying, hey, I have this media company, Kushi Media. I also have a graphic design team. I'll design your book cover for free. So that's how we started becoming friends and working together. Yeah. I think I'm probably the first person that had over like 10 what is it called? Like reviews, like over like so many drafts. Like I had to send back so many things.
Yeah.
You also helped me with my sticker, and you're like, Kamaka, usually we only do like 2 or 3 drafts for people.
Oh yeah, you mean like the reviews of making the design?
Yeah, I don't know what
yeah, absolutely. And I was like, it's all good.
It's all good.
Good thing it's pandemic right now.
Yeah,
Every time. No, I'm just kidding.
So that's how we started. We started working on my book cover for my book So Far, which is available right now. Just DM me or it's on Amazon. And then eventually you just told me about this idea called Hawaiiverse, and you're like, okay, it's this online, coupon directory that we want to create because we just hate seeing all the local businesses shut down. And I'm all about local. Like that's what my brand was. The local boy doing everything,
100%.
Working local for everybody local. So we met at your house. His house has the best food all the time. We love having meetings in Hilo at Jared's house. Jordan hasn't been there yet.
Yeah, but he'll be there.
Yes.
But, and then the funny thing is, like, I'm like, hey, this is every night.
I know,
like Kamaka's like, wait, did you throw a party for me? Or like, this is crazy. And it's like, every night, my whole family's amazing.
Yeah.
My mom, dad,
So
and
good.
sister, and it's tough to stay in shape there.
Yeah, I know. We talk about that all the time. So I went there, met you. I think that was the first time meeting in person.
Was it?
We might have actually.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But you told me you wanted to introduce me to Taylor, who was our CTO, who was the business partner. Mm-hmm. And I met him. You guys were drinking, taking shots. I don't drink. Yeah, so I had my water. And Taylor was just so passionate about Hawaiiverse, what's going on. He was saying about how pono, how righteous it was.
Yep.
Oh, it's so pono. And you're on the side like, okay, Taylor, I think he gets it.
Yeah, I was like, Taylor, you're gonna scare him away, man. I think he's good. He gets it.
He's like, no, but it's so porno. It is so porno. And the cool thing, which I love the passion, I love the idea, but also my middle name is Kupono, which means
you learn
righteousness.
That later, yeah.
Yes, and so Kamaka Kupono. Kamaka means the eye. Kupono is righteousness, good. So my name means like the one who sees things in a good way. So I always have a good eye for things, and I can feel in my nut that if something is gonna be pono for me. So I felt like it was pono, and I was on board. He told me what I had to do, and from there it was guerrilla marketing. Like we did the spotlights. We just walked into stores,
hit the streets.
Yeah, just told them about the idea. We DM people on Instagram. We did whatever we could to spread the word.
Yep.
And like you said, we started with 40 businesses. It was so fun. People were loving the idea. We thought, okay, let's expand to Oahu now. So we expanded to Oahu, and we had this campaign to get to 808 businesses.
Right.
So we just pushed as hard as we can so we grew from 40 businesses to 808 businesses in a couple of months. And then it just started to go to 1,000 businesses. And then I guess this is the point of Hawaiiverse where we're like, okay, this has just started as a passion project, but now it's a full-blown business.
Yeah.
And we're a skeleton team of 4 people.
Yeah.
And then, okay, what was the evolution of Hawaiiverse after this in 2021?
Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned that we were ready to expand to Oahu. In reality, we weren't. Like, we were planning to expand to Oahu maybe 6 months later. But when I think traveling opened back up, you and I flew back up, and I reached out to some of my contacts, and we partnered with the State Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
So that really helped us with credibility and reaching more businesses. And that's when we're like, hey, if they're ready to partner, like let's do it. We thought we were gonna come to Oahu months later, but let's just do it already. And that's how it started. Right?
Yeah.
And then we partnered with Propeller, the videography company. Yeah. I think we shot over, like 70 videos.
We have a lot. It's all on YouTube. Go check it out.
Yeah, check it out. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. But these are like 3 to 8 minute videos.
Super high quality videos. High quality. It should have got more traction. It still should.
Yeah. And it still has potential, I think. It's just, you never know. It's social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how we got there. And then, like you said, it kind of grew into this monster, right? In a good way. Way past our expectations. And that's when we're like, over 1,000 businesses, we want to make sure we take care of these businesses. But how do we do that with just our skeleton crew, 4 people who have other jobs as well, that we're doing. So that's kind of where kind of had to turn on the business mindset, and it's not a passion project anymore. We need to make this financially stable. So what came out of that was, well, first of all, I think we launched an e-commerce store. We tried many different things.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if everybody remembers, but we had local drops, which is like
weekly giveaways,
time things. We were trying all kinds of different ideas. And it's funny because we did think about e-commerce from the beginning, but I don't know, it just seemed so straightforward, and like, what was our differentiator at the time? You know, so there was many different iterations of Hawaiiverse, and what we are today is an e-commerce store, right? So we kind of say like, let's call it Amazon Etsy of Hawaii, right? So all local products from local companies. And what's really cool is it's all consignment based. So we give 60% to the vendor, 40% to us, but we take care of all the shipping, the packing, the fulfillment. So we have our own little fulfillment center in Hilo, looking to open a shop. We didn't tell people that, but if anyone knows any locations downtown Hilo available, please let us know.
And maybe one day on Oahu.
Yeah. But I think it was naturally the next step in terms of helping local businesses as much as we can. You know, the directory is one thing.
Which is now an app.
Which is now a mobile app. So always moving
clean.
forward. Emaremo, you know, Ace and Reishi did an amazing job with that. But yeah, so now we have all these different kind of things. I guess we can call it a network or a platform or a community.
Yeah,
better yet.
Definitely.
And yeah, we're chugging along. We're gonna keep doing whatever it takes to make it work.
Yeah, I think what it really got me was that we were building this community. We were connecting with so many people, business owners, and you know, I had no business, you know, acumen. You know, I learned a lot just on the job. You know, they say in Hawaiian, makahana ka'ike, in doing you learn, and like that's basically what the last like 2 or 3 years for me was, just like trying to figure out like the ins and out of running a business, and you know, trying to survive on my own as well, you know, with like making money. Because when I started Hawaiiverse, I was still doing the race 50K. So if I had some free time, I would go and help. And then 2021, I didn't even have a job. I was just only doing Hawaiiverse. And then I was like, okay, well, I need to make money now. So I got a part-time job, and like we're still doing.
We're figuring out. I mean, look at the podcast now, dude.
Yeah, and then we started the podcast, and I guess how the podcast started was. Which everybody thinks is Hawaiiverse, where this is Hawaiiverse, what we're talking about.
Everything, yeah. We didn't even talk about the podcast yet.
Yeah, we haven't, like, we've done so much. And it's crazy that we've done it with 4 people.
I know.
Under 30. We were all under 30 when we started.
Yeah, we were. I mean, we've also had amazing interns,
and
volunteers. So we couldn't have done it without
partners.
Them. And a lot of automation. You know, I think that's one of our advantages is, which Blue Startups helped me a lot with, you know, and like, we spent a lot of time in San Francisco as well, helping these companies. And there's so many technology out there that people are not taking advantage of, you know, to automate as much as possible for your business. So that's how when I think people, I say like, wait, you guys only have 4 people? Their mind's blown, you know? They're like, how are you doing all this stuff? Well, technology has a lot to do with it, you know? Robots. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So real quick before we get into the podcast stuff, how do you pronounce it? Is it Hawaiiverse? Is it Hawaiiverse? Is it Hawaii space verse? And what does Hawaiiverse stand for? Because I hear people think of like verse, like a song verse, Hawaiiverse, like conversation.
Yeah. And a lot of people put the space in between.
Space, yeah, Hawaiiverse.
Or Hawaii and then capital V.
Yeah, exactly. You know, or they say Hawaiiverse.
Yeah. I mean, so I hate to say right or wrong way to say it, but yeah, it is Hawaiiverse. And the whole premise, I guess, or thought behind it is Hawaii's universe. You know, and that's why our icon logo is literally like a planet. Yeah, nice shirt. You got good taste, man. But yeah, so Hawaiiverse as in Hawaii's universe, where I think it goes both ways. I mean, Hawaii is part of everywhere. It can be part of the universe in a sense, or the world, right? And then also we have our own little universe too.
Yeah, well, it's Hawaiiverse, our island universe. You know, it's like we have our like Hawaii floating on a rock in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and it's our own little universe of like local businesses, of local people, of, you know, that's what Hawaii is. To me, it's like, I mean, especially the people who believe Hawaii to be sovereign, you know, it's like, yeah, in a sense, we are our own universe, and we're gonna support ourselves We're gonna work together. We're gonna build community,
You know,
and we're gonna keep everything.
Keep it aloha.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it aloha. We're gonna keep it local, keep it aloha. So that's the idea. It's Hawaii universe. So like universe. Like,
Yeah.
Not verse, like you're writing a verse or
Right.
conversation. So
And it's one word.
It's one word. And
Yeah.
you know, the same way you say Hawaiiverse, it's the same way we say Hawaii and Hawaii.
Right.
Some people say Hawaii, some people say Hawaii. You know, Hawaii isn't in a Hawaiian word. It's an English word. Hawaiiverse is a made up word. Hawaiiverse. So if you want to say Hawaiiverse, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
We're both right.
It's
yeah.
just like sometimes I say Hawaii, sometimes I say Hawaii. It's just whatever comes out my mouth naturally.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I do want to say, like, we also want to share Hawaii with the universe in a sense. You know, like, we love when people buy, you know, our local products from outside of Hawaii.
Yeah, and a lot of our customers are people who had to move, you know, to somewhere in the continental
Mainland
United
or
States,
wherever,
and they're living over there and they want to still support local, or people who just have an affinity for Hawaii.
Exactly.
And they buy
Which is
from our
great, you know, so
store.
that
Yeah.
we're not just recycling the funds in Hawaii's economy, but we're like bringing more an influx, you know,
Yeah,
and that's
we
really what
taking that mainland money.
get that mainland
Yeah.
money, man.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is my role in Hawaiiverse, and who, like, let's talk about our team real quick. Like, let's talk about our team and what each of us do.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you know, I mean, in a startup, everyone kind of does everything, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning.
Yes, definitely.
But now our roles are a little bit more concrete in terms of what we're focusing on. But everyone's a business partner, right? I think that's very clear. If you have an idea, you should bring it up and we can help you with
I'm the idea guy. I'm the idea guy.
He is the idea guy.
I call being the idea guy.
And I'm the idea
Executor.
put downer guy. No.
The idea writer.
the idea reality guy. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah. So Kamaka, I mean, you do a lot of different things, but the main ones that we want you to focus on is, you know, being the face of Hawaii, because there's obviously a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and you know, stuff like this, like I'm happy to do, but I think there's better people at it than myself, and you're one of them.
You're doing
you know?
great.
So,
You're doing so great.
well, we appreciate you. And then on top of that, of course, you're technically the outreach director. So anything when it comes to outreach, getting new businesses, just being in the community, always having Hawaiiverse at top of mind and spreading the word as best as possible. You know, and I know we're coming up with some new programs, which is kind of exciting, which you're going to be running. So maybe we'll get into that later. But yeah, so that's mainly your role, right? Just be the face of Hawaii. I mean, be Hawaiiverse, basically.
I am Hawaiiverse.
Yeah. So even the pod, right? Like, we actually told you to do the pod, right? Because then it kind of replaced the Hawaiiverse Spotlight videos, where so much work to make a high production video.
Yeah.
Let's do something in a different form, and that's where the podcast started. But so that's Kamaka.
Yeah.
If you didn't know who Kamaka was,
If you didn't know me, if you're listening to me and you have no idea who I am, that's me.
Yeah, and then we have Taylor, Martin, and Callie. I'll start with Callie.
The true MVP.
She is the heart of the company.
Yeah.
Like true MVP. My God, I don't know how she does everything that she does.
I know. If you're talking to somebody on Hawaiiverse, you're emailing, like, it's all Callie.
Yeah, it's most likely Callie.
Yeah.
But basically anything to do with operations, but she also does the social media. So, you know, of course my design team helps support as much as we can, but she's the brain behind all of that and getting stuff done. She's really, really good at just getting stuff done.
Yeah.
So
She might be a robot. She might be an actual robot.
yeah, so we appreciate Callie, and yeah, she's a champion. And Taylor, her husband, is our CTO. Like I said, he's a web developer and videographer. So he's making a lot of the videos that are being posted on social media, a lot of editing. The website is all him. You know, from the directory website to our new e-commerce website, it's all him, built from scratch.
Yeah.
You know, when we get new products, he's the one taking the product pictures, getting it up there, optimizing the website as much as possible. So, I mean, you know, that's just all jargon, but basically he's another all-star, as everyone is on our team. And yeah,
I just love how we all complement each other's roles, and we all know our role. You know, it's like on a basketball team, like we have a 3-point shooter, we have somebody that drives into the lane, we have somebody who posts up, you know, whatever it is, or somebody who's just really good at defense. Like, we all know our role and we execute it very well. I think that's why we all work together.
Yeah. And I think that's a big part of why we are so successful thus far. You know, And yeah, just super proud to be a part of this team.
Definitely. I mean, same. I mean, I can't imagine my life without Hawaiiverse. But yeah, so that's who we are. That's what we do. And you didn't even talk about you.
Myself?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you tell me what I do.
Everything.
No.
He does everything. I mean, like because you have your own graphics team too, that's so helpful. You know, we don't have to outsource anything.
Right.
Like all the graphics you see from the whole Hawaiiverse podcast, that's all Jared. Any social media graphic, that's all Jared. Unless Callie makes something.
She makes
specific.
Something, yeah. But that's my team. I think.
Yeah.
Graphics is one thing. Anyone can do that. But I think what's good is to have your team. This is for any startup or any business. Like focus on the things that only you can do, or you have an advantage over. Right. The other things, you do what you can, but you should be doing what you're really good at. Right. So, you know, I do my best to push Hawaiiverse forward, whatever that takes. Right. Whether it's partnerships or meetings or representing sales, like whatever it really comes down to. You know. And I don't know, maybe you have a different perspective on it, but it's hard to explain.
What Jared does is when we go to his house, he pours shots for Jordan. And Jordan always complains about how he doesn't want to take the shot. And then Jared's like, no, come on, you have to. Come on.
No.
So that's what they do.
Peer pressure.
No, yeah. I mean, Jared's the brain behind the whole operation. Like his business savvy is so good, and I always ask him for business advice, and I tell him like, hey, how do we execute this idea that I have? And it's nice because we have this like I have this, you know, wide-eyed, like granted, let's do this,
which is good.
God. Yes, and you're the more like technical, analytical, like, okay, Kamako, but what about this? How is this XYZ? You know, the business side of it, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. How does that fit?
How do I let them know softly?
Yeah. So you're gonna keeping me in check.
No, but I think you're doing a great job, Kako. And honestly, like, I'm proud of you, man.
He forced me to do Google Calendars.
Oh yeah, I did, because I don't know how you don't do that.
I thought I was organized, but I guess not.
But yeah, no, I feel like, you know, I love seeing your success because I feel like I'm happy to be a part of it, you know, like any way I can help, I'm always there for you, for sure.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, I appreciate you as like a mentor and friend and like somebody who like had helped me get my feet wet with business, because that's something that was so foreign to me. You know, even I will do business, like even the race to 50K, you know, these business transaction with people. And to me, it's just like, oh, I'm just talking to people and doing work for them. But, you know, there's a more like logistical and technical side to it that, you know, I have this raw talent, I guess, but I really don't. And I need somebody to mold it into, you know, this like actual business.
Yeah, it's like sports, right?
I guess, a coach, a team, a manager, whatever it is. Yeah. So again, that's a little bit more about Hawaiiverse and the podcast. Everybody probably is very confused about that. Was very confused about that. That's why we changed the name. So at first we were doing those spotlights, and then we're like, it takes up a lot of time. It's not really getting the traction we want. So Jared and the team told me like, Kamako, why don't you start a podcast? And I actually didn't want to start a podcast.
I know you're hesitant.
Yeah, so it's crazy now. I was hesitant to start a podcast, and look where we're at now. I love it. I love doing it.
Yeah, you found your thing, man.
Yeah. So they told me to start the podcast, and I said, okay, I'll come up with the format, you know, what we're gonna talk about, the guests we're gonna have on. You guys just get me a place. Do the graphics, help me with all the back end stuff, and I'll just focus on making this the best podcast I can possibly make. And we started with a little GoPro.
Yep.
Your old GoPro.
And a phone, I think. We just used our phone.
I think I tried to use my phone, but it takes up too much memory. I tried to get a little camera, record it. I remember the first day we did the podcast at Summit Media.
Yep.
So we partnered with Summit Media because they were doing this Aloha Pods program. Right. You had a friend that was also doing it, and you know, they brought us on board, and it was kind of like this trial program. I don't know,
kind of pilot
program. And then so they hosted us for free. You know, it was supposed to be like a paid thing, and eventually we ended up squatting there for about a year. Thanks, Min.
They're amazing.
Yeah. And I remember the first day I had it all set. You guys can go back and check out the episode 1 with Issa Demar.
Yeah.
I don't think you could make it. You couldn't make it that day.
I couldn't, but
So
you did call me.
I went over there and I thought I had it all under control. I was trying to set up the camera and I couldn't get a right angle. We were actually in a different room that we were supposed to be in. I was like so anxious. I was getting so much anxiety. I was sweating and everything. My guest was over there. I was so nervous. I called you like, hey, this isn't working. Like,
Yeah,
what
you
do I
called me.
do?
I was like, come on, just breathe, man. It's gonna be okay. Like, you're gonna do fine.
Yeah. So I ended up just not even recording it. I don't think we had video for the first
And I think it
episode.
was just audio.
It was just audio. Yeah, it was just audio for the first one. I went in front of the mic. I started it, and after that, it was just natural. It just flowed naturally. I stopped sweating.
Yeah.
I just felt comfortable talking, and after that, it was just
It got better every single time. Like, I remember we would listen to it and then give you feedback and our thoughts, and we would just go back and forth. How do you make it better, right? And look at you now, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy to think where we started, and we started with $0, no budget.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were able to do that because we got lucky with partnerships.
Yeah, so the support of everybody. I mean, the nice thing about Hawaiiverse is like, everyone loves it.
Yeah.
Once they hear about it, right? So that's the problem. It's not everyone knows about it. But once they do, everybody loves it, because they feel our passion, I believe. And we really are just trying to help.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And so we first started Hawaiiverse podcast as a way to drive people to our e-commerce store and coupon directory. And so we were thinking, maybe we get on some business owners. So that's why we started with Issa Demar. They're also on Hawaiiverse. They're a bikini company here. And then naturally, the conversation started to gravitate towards culture. Yeah. Because of my background and the things I like to talk about. And then I really just started to get people that I wanted to talk about. I was like, or I had a connection with.
Yeah, I just kept evolving and evolving. And like, it's funny because some of the people that we've had on in the past, like you reached out to them before, right? And you never got anything back from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then you kept trucking at it, and look, then you got them on board. Yeah.
So it was cool how it all started, because I was like, I always wondered what Guy Hoggy thinks about all the memes that came out for him. So I was like, let me talk to Guy Hoggy. I was like, I know Kimmy. She's friends with my family, Kimmy Warner. I was like, let's talk to her. Or who else do we have? Like, Kamaka Fernandez.
Yep.
He has a super cool story. Let me just talk to him. So it really just started off with people I was interested in getting to know and
that we had
sharing their story, that we had some sort of connection. And then eventually it grew so big that we had this credibility. Like, I could just be like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Instead of like sending messages.
Flipped. Yeah. Before it was like, it'll be an honor to have you on our podcast. And it still is. It still is. But now it's also like people are willing to like they want to be on the podcast, which is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, people fly to Oahu just to be on the podcast, which is crazy. And I love it. And then so pretty much we were going at that, had the GoPro, and then Jordan, our videographer and producer, he reached out to me on Instagram. He slid into my DMs saying that he has a Jordan, what is it production company? He has headphones on. He can't hear me. Okay, he had this media production company, Kingdom Purpose, and he wanted to get into short form content, I guess long form content, and make short form content from the long form. So for example, instead of like putting all this time and effort into making music videos that don't even do that well on YouTube, why not just do podcasting? Because podcasting, he saw the potential of podcasts. So he saw our podcast and he reached out and he's like, you have this hour-and-a-half long conversation that it's barely needs to be edited. All you have to do is cut up all these clips from that hour-and-a-half long, and you have 7 videos. You have all this content. Instead of doing all these like little small things, exactly. It is, right? So you just have this one video, and you get so much content from 2 hours of your time. So Jordan came along. We had the first episode with BJ Penn, and that's when we started upping our quality. That's the quality you see now, which is like the close up of you got the A camera, angles, you got 2 camera setup. You got the wide angle, you got the close up, and we just blast out shotgun approach clips on Instagram, TikTok,
Everything.
YouTube, everything.
And it gets better every time.
And and then, why not just use all of that and, maybe 1 or 2 clips catch and, they go viral or people really resonate with them. So and
it's very much easier to digest, I think.
Exactly. Because not everybody listens to the whole entire podcast.
Yeah.
So majority of the people that talk to me and say, hey, I like your podcast, I love what you're doing, they see the clips on Instagram, which is one of our strengths. I feel like, we're I don't want to say dominating the Instagram market, but I think that's a platform that we really, focused on and
Definitely.
we grew. So I think, and I see people kind of doing what we're doing.
Similar now,
I see that they're having success, which is good. I'm totally happy for them because,
everybody wants to
I mean, don't
especially
catch up
in
to us just yet. But no, I'm happy to see it because that's the formula that we use. And if they can replicate it and have success, that's super awesome. Super stoked for them. So the conversations just naturally started to go into, Hawaii culture, whatever, and not really so much about business. So eventually we were thinking like, maybe we should just separate it. So that people change the name so that people will understand that Hawaiiverse is not a podcast. Because I swear about 99% of people that didn't know what Hawaiiverse was before, they only think it's a podcast.
Yeah.
And
which is frustrating because in reality, it's like
we do so much more. Yeah.
The podcast was like 20% of Hawaiiverse, we're like, which we're happy about. Like we want the podcast to succeed, but then it's like frustrating where everyone's working so hard and everything else and they just didn't understand like exactly what it was because they got confused with the podcast. You know?
It was a good problem to have. It grew so much and we're very thankful for that. But I just thought, being able to rebrand it was the best idea. And we played around with the idea before, but eventually I was like, okay, I gotta pull the trigger. We gotta do this. Keep it Aloha podcast. That's what it is today.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And we have this platform where we can promote other local businesses. So it's still with the same mindset of supporting local, of helping other people. And that's what Hawaiiverse was founded on.
Correct.
So that's why I love it. It's like everything is still part of Hawaii's universe.
Yeah.
You'll
still be hearing about Hawaiiverse.
Yeah. And I'm still, and then people ask me, oh wait, so are you still part of Hawaiiverse? Like, yes, I'm part of Hawaiiverse. I'm like, we founded this together. Yeah. Like we're partners and this is what I love to do. I'm never not going to be Hawaiiverse. So and it's
now you might see Kamaka doing more stuff besides the podcast now.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. So we got, Hawaiiverse on the side. We got the podcast, on the other side. And then, everything in between that, I'll do for my own personal brand. We do together as a business. And then, the future's bright for everything that we're doing.
But the goal is to grow Hawaiiverse where we can, do that mainly, right? And figure everything else out. So
yes, definitely.
Well, I think you're well on your way, man.
Yeah, mahalo. So right now, let's take a shishi break, and then we'll get back with some Hawaiiverse FAQs. All right, back from our shishi break. Thanks to Shaka Tea. I always credit them for making me shishi on the podcast. Yeah, check them out. Beautiful design, beautiful momaki tea.
You have to shaka every time you drink it.
Keep it aloha, like Shaka Tea. All right. So Hawaiiverse FAQs. This is a lot of the questions that I always get asked. Okay. You move your mic a little closer. Okay, get ready. All right.
Yeah, join in.
You ready for this? Hawaiiverse FAQs. Frequently asked questions. Is Hawaiiverse a nonprofit?
No, it is not. Okay.
Then how do you make money?
That's a good question. No, I'm just kidding. That's where the e-commerce store comes into play. Like I said before, it's 60% to the vendor, 40% to us. And, right now we have over 500, if not almost 1,000 products at this point with, thousands of SKUs. And the goal is just to grow as large as possible. Have the store, have the online store take off and really do as much as we can. So that's how we plan to make money long term.
Okay. So Hawaiiverse is not just a podcast.
No, it's not.
Wait, what?
Surprisingly, what? Crazy. Yeah, Hawaiiverse is 80% not a podcast.
Now 100% not a podcast.
Yeah, now 100 actually. But yeah, so it's like I said, we already talked about it, but created this ton of network where and community where it's the coupon directory with the mobile app, the e-commerce store, Eventually, like you said, hopefully we'll have a physical store. And we just want to be within the community, you know? So, we have a lot of things in the works, you know?
We just want to be everywhere. Like Hawaiiverse, when you go outside, when you go into the bathroom, you see Hawaiiverse before you go to sleep. Hawaiiverse, when you wake up, Hawaiiverse. Everything Hawaiiverse.
Yeah.
We want to be everywhere.
Well, the thing is this, right? It's like a lot of people say they support local, but maybe they don't know how, or they end up not supporting local. You know what I mean? Although everyone wants to, and they believe they want to. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to do that.
Yeah. And what's easier than, hey, come into this restaurant and get 10% off?
Yeah, why not, right? It's a win-win, right? You save money, they get a new customer.
There really isn't any reason anyone shouldn't be using Hawaiiverse.
Yeah.
It's free to join.
Exactly.
Free to use. And you get discounts to local businesses.
It's a win-win. You can only benefit.
Yeah. And the businesses can only benefit.
Yeah, and you're supporting local.
Yeah.
That's the main thing here. And in supporting local, you're supporting yourself in a sense. And actually, I think this might be a good time to come out and maybe just talk a little bit about sneak peek of the ambassador program you're working on.
Yes, definitely. So pretty much, if you have a local business that you love, whether that's an e-commerce store for our platform or just for our coupon directory, if they're in retail, service, or restaurant, tell them to join Hawaiiverse and we'll pay you. Pretty much, you tell them to join Hawaiiverse, you get $5 of store credit to our website. Or more. You can earn, it's like a tiered system. You get up to 20 businesses, you earn $8 per vendor that signs up. If you get over 30, I think you get like $10
for 20, yeah.
20, something like that. So go check it out. It's available. Not anybody can do it.
Yeah, if you're interested, DM us. Right now, it is kind of in the pilot program, but we're working on it. And the plan is, have the community, which is everyone watching this, support the community. And that's what we're all about. The money you spend in the store that we give you goes to the businesses that we support.
Yes, exactly.
So
it's a win-win-win-win all around. Like if you could draw a circle with win, just written, it's like win-win-win-win. Like the recycle triangle, it's like win, win, win. That's really what Hawaiiverse is.
Yeah.
And this ambassador program, we're paying you to literally send a DM, or if you're at Kahala Mall, if you're at Windward Mall, if you're at the Prince Cleo Plaza, you just stop by a store and be like, hey, have you heard of Hawaiiverse? Sign up right here. And boom, you just made $5.
And they can also be your friend, family, uncle, auntie.
If you have a business, it's that easy.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just benefits everyone. If everyone can do it together, I think we're going to be well off.
Definitely. Okay, so what does it take to sign up? So it's free to sign up. You don't have to pay. No, do the businesses have to pay?
No, yeah. So, we kept it free on purpose, kind of opened up that gates to help as many businesses as possible. So it's free for businesses to sign up, free for users to use the coupons or buy anything. So free all around. It's even to get on our store is free, right? Because it's consignment.
Wow. I never knew about that. Why would I not sign up? I'd probably be an idiot for not signing up.
And cut. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we'll leave that in. Because if everyone listening to this, if you're still at this point in the podcast, go to the App Store right now and download Hawaiiverse. It's free and it supports us. And in doing that, it supports our local community, which supports our local businesses. It's not rocket science.
Every little thing helps, even if you just share our story or
follow us on Instagram,
Facebook. Share it to other people, and give us feedback. If there are ways to improve or ideas that you have, please let us know. We're very open to them.
Definitely. Okay. Is it available for Android?
Not yet. Just Apple, iPhone right now. But we're also just a website as well, right? When it comes to the e-commerce store, so you can check that out.
Okay. So Hawaiiverse is a coupon directory, kind of like Yelp.
Yeah, kind of, with a little twist, right?
Okay. Am I able to leave a review for a business?
No, you cannot. And that's done purposefully, because Yelp. A lot of businesses here don't care for Yelp, realistically, because it can make a business, but it can also kill a business. And we're all about just supporting local, supporting as many businesses as we can. And that's why we purposefully do not have reviews on there, because we're not trying to hurt any businesses' opportunities for success.
Yeah. People can go and find their local businesses, see for themselves if they like it or not. And then that's all. Word them out. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
I think every local business at least deserves a chance.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If you want to go back, that's on the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it good enough or not?
Yeah.
But at least what we're trying to do is give everybody the best chance possible.
Okay, cool. All right. And we've been talking about this app. What exactly does this app do?
Yeah. So it's really cool. It's kind of like Yelp in a sense where it's like geographic locations and whatnot, but you can basically see all the different coupons that are around you and listings. So all of them have a physical location somewhere. And you can, categorize them under restaurants, retail, or service companies. So, when we say service, it can be anything from like a lawyer to an accountant to a masseuse or an activity, right? But yeah, we're trying to encompass as many businesses as possible and really not have any barriers for anyone to not be on it.
Okay, cool. I just downloaded the Hawaiiverse app on my phone right now. Wow, this is the coolest app I've ever seen in my life. Not an ad.
It's like you were with Hawaiiverse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so weird. Oh wow, I didn't even realize I was wearing a Hawaiiverse shirt. Okay, mahalo for sharing those things about Hawaiiverse. I think now people should have a pretty good understanding of what Hawaiiverse is, and we can move on. Okay, so let's get into the back half of the podcast, and I want to know, how do you start a business?
Just do it.
Nike.
I mean, it does. It sounds too simple, but that's the truth. Like, just do it. A lot of people ask me this, and the first step is actually doing market research. So a lot of businesses, when they ask for advice, especially in the early stage, that's what I tell them. It's like, do market research, do your research, ask people out there, because a lot of times, well, first of all, no one thinks they have an ugly baby. Right? So your idea in your head of a business that's going to be so successful, maybe it is, maybe it's not, but you shouldn't be the one to decide that, right? And it's free market research, right? You just go out, and this is not market research like talk to your family and friends. This is market research as in talk to people that you think might be in your market or random people, and you don't start off by saying, hey, I'm starting this business and blah, blah, blah. Isn't it going to be amazing? Like, it's kind of skewed.
That sounds like something I would say in the beginning.
Right. Totally. But it's more so about asking questions about the market. Like, how many times a week do you buy this? Or what's the last time you bought this and how much did you spend on it? Or, things like that are not leading questions that are kind of, because you want unbiased answers, basically. And so, with that in mind, I think that's the first step to start a business, actually.
Okay. What about on the technical legal side?
Yeah, the legal side. Although I've done it a few times, I still wouldn't consider myself an expert in it. But really, you just fill out a bunch of forms, create an LLC or a C corp.
Where do I do that?
Honestly, you Google it. It goes to the government website, I believe, and you have to file for EIN as well. Yeah, so technically, those are all the things that you need to do. But even a step before that, what I would tell you is just try it first, Like, a lot of times you don't have to start an LLC or business before you start anything. It's like, if it's a consulting thing or if it's a certain thing, just try to see if you can even sell it to people. It doesn't have to be thousands of dollars and have a store, right?
You love baking.
Yeah, give it a test run, post on your Instagram, see if anybody buys it. And then when you're ready to take that step or when it starts to get serious, yes, of course, you want to start your own LLC or S Corp, C Corp business. But before then, it comes back to how do you start a business? Just do it. You're going to find out a lot just by doing it. Yes,
and you guys all heard that here first. Just do it. Nike, Jared Kushi.
Yeah, we're gonna make a shirt.
You watched Office, right?
Yeah. Not all of it.
Okay, but you know that scene, or I think it's a meme too, where it's you miss all the shots you don't take, 100% of the shots you don't take, and it's Wayne Gretzky, and then underneath it's Michael Scott.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
just
what you're thinking.
Paint a picture for everybody that doesn't get it.
And with business, it's a lot of times you only have to hit one of them.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So take as many shots as you can.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of businesses, like you said, Amazon wasn't even profitable for how many years?
10
right?
years, maybe even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, they started with just books, right? And look at them now.
Oh, they started with books?
Yeah.
Like selling books?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Online, yeah.
Or like making books, because I published my book off Amazon.
No, just selling books. Yeah.
Oh.
I think that's how they started.
And now they just do everything. They publish books.
Exactly.
Yeah. They
So
probably
just
own-
get started
yeah.
and pivot as much as you need to. Yeah. Be open-minded,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
In the wise words of Ross from Friends, pivot, pivot.
I'm so bad with like those sayings from
Pop
shows and
culture.
stuff. Yeah. I'm so bad at pop culture.
Except the challenge.
Except the challenge.
That's our show. Hey, let
The
us know if you watched the
challenge.
challenge on MTV.
That's our jam.
We found out that we mutually love the challenge, and we've been watching it since we were young. It's just a show on MTV, which is like a reality show competition, but
Yeah.
it takes the people from reality shows like
Other
Real
reality
World,
shows, yeah.
Real World, and now they have Big
Survivor,
Brother,
Big
Survivor, all of that, and they go into this competition with like physical, like actual, like you have to run and like do these challenges, do puzzles,
Yeah, and social,
and so
of course,
yeah,
political.
like politic, and
Yeah.
it's
We
our
can talk
favorite
about this
show.
all day, but I don't think everyone's interested.
Oh
as
yeah,
we
no,
are.
they want to.
Yeah.
This is what they came here for,
Oh, yeah, you're
to
right,
listen
you're
to the
right.
challenge. Yeah. See, this is a good interaction of how we work as a team. Where I'm just like, oh, da, 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 da. He's like, well, let's just focus on the task at hand.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay, so what would you say is your biggest failure, and followed up with that is, what do you think is your biggest success?
It's funny you ask that question because this is so when I interview people,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the best question, I think.
Oh,
when
nice.
I ask
That's
them.
the best question.
Yeah, I wish you told me ahead of time. But biggest failure, I mean, in all honesty, like I feel like I've had so many failures in my life, to be totally honest, you know, from I mean, business is not easy. And you're gonna fail. Basically what can go wrong or what you think is gonna go wrong probably will. So I think it's important to celebrate the little wins, no matter what they are, especially if you have a team. You know, but yeah, so I mean, there's not like one failure that steps up in my head. If I did have to kind of talk about one particular failure, and it's actually not in business. It was in high school. So I played volleyball and golf and they changed into the same season my junior year. So I got to play both sports in the same season, which is the first time they've ever done that. And it's kind of like a pilot program. And then I ended up making it to states for both, but my passion was volleyball. And then I had to decide which one to go to. And then I ended up kind of I chose volleyball, but I also took someone's spot from the golf team. So I kind of felt horrible on that, you know? So in a sense, I look at that as failure because I just hate that I took that opportunity from someone else and I could have made that decision sooner.
Dang, that's very, very noble of you. Now that you're aware of it, not noble at the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was aware it was just a bad situation.
Yeah, I can't really do much, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I still regret it to this day. I just feel bad, you know,
Dang.
like.
That's your biggest regret in life?
No, not regret. I guess failure. I don't know.
If that's your biggest regret in life, then man, that's awesome.
No, definitely not. But that is a failure. If I have to choose one, you know.
I got you. Okay, what do you think is one of your biggest success?
The biggest success, I would say Hawaiiverse, honestly. I mean,
Let's go.
And the crazy thing is, this is just the beginning. And I'm not saying it just because, like, Hawaiiverse. It's like, well, for one thing, I feel like I've learned from my other two businesses as much as possible. And they're all different types of businesses, right? Like the first one is like a venture-backed company where we raised a lot of money at Life DNA. But with investors, it's just different, you know? And then Kushi Media is a small business where it's basically just me and a small team, and it's just whatever you get and you put out, right? And then kind of put both of those together, we got Hawaiiverse here, where, you know, we have a team. It has potential for high scale, but it's also, you know, private. Like we've been approached, but haven't taken any investment yet. And I feel like we're doing a lot of the right things and setting ourselves up to, like Hank Rogers says, catch that wave when it comes, right? But yeah, I'm really proud about what we built, and I think we're really close to getting there, you know. And even though it's not financially where, you know, I would like to be for the company and personally, I think I am most proud of it for sure.
I love it. I'm proud of it too, and I'm
Yeah.
proud of you and our whole team. It's cool to say like we started Hawaiiverse, and like to think about in 5-10 years where it could be, and how everybody could be using the app. Everybody could be talking.
Yeah, like I feel like we
about
can
it,
make real change here in Hawaii.
I think so. Yeah,
and not just talk about it, right? We're
yeah.
actually
We
doing
just
it.
gotta hope
We're doing
people see that same vision and believe in us, which you know a lot of people have. It's just we want more.
Yeah. We will.
Okay, what's the best advice you've ever received?
That's a good one. Best advice I've ever received. So I think the best advice I've ever received, and I feel like I received this over my lifetime, would come from my dad. Because
Hey, Jared, clean the fish.
no, really, stuff like that. But and maybe you saw it when you met him, but he was kind of strict growing up, which is a good thing at the time. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but I appreciate him so much for it because it was kind of a life lesson of like he has this power of looking at you and you feel like you should be supposed to be doing something. So kind of what I learned was like, hey, like if there's something to be done and you're available, do it.
Don't wait to be asked.
Don't wait to be asked. You know, so whether it's cleaning something or whenever mom comes home, just go help her grab the groceries, do whatever it is. I'm gonna do it. You know, and nothing against anyone else, but like I've noticed a difference, especially when it came to college, and the people are like, "Why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "It's just natural for me. Like that's how I was raised." You know, a funny story was I have some friends visit to when I go to Hilo sometimes, and I take them out fishing on my dad's boat and stuff, and we come back and you know we're tired because it's like we go 5 a.m. come back at like 2 whatever, and then as soon as we get home I start cleaning the boat, cleaning the truck, and then when I say like, hey, all right, to my friends like, hey, let's clean the boat, he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? Like he's like, I'm tired. I'm like, yeah, but we got to do this. Like that's part of our responsibility of doing it, you know? So I guess what's nice is what he taught me is, you know, do without being told. And he's done it so much to me that it just comes naturally now.
Yeah, I love
this
it.
point.
Yes. Do you think that's a Japanese culture thing, a local culture thing? Because I feel like in Hawaiian culture, it's very similar. Like when I went to school, it was like, oh yeah, you gotta help out before the teachers ask. Everybody gotta kokua and help set up, take down at any event. And even, you know, at my house, it's like somebody is, or like, yeah, mom or dad comes home from the grocery store, you know, they're,
I mean, even simple as please and thank you.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like if I don't say it, it's like I did something wrong.
Yeah,
which is true.
I mean, yeah,
I truly believe that now too.
Definitely. So you think that's a local thing, or mainly depending on your culture? Because I feel like Japanese culture is integrated into local culture, anyways. So
I agree. I mean, I think it comes down to culture, like your family's culture.
Yeah,
you know, because not everyone is like us. I think there's different levels of it as well.
And there's also like the Hilo aspect too, which is like, I feel like it's a lot more close knit. Yeah, and like you have to like help out.
You have to, right. And like I said, it's like your reputation is like the one thing that you have. So yeah, it's like you have to be really on it. You know,
definitely.
But saying that, like, I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess part of it is Japanese culture, but like I think we're like 4th, 5th generation, like Hawaii. You know, my parents went to Japan for the first time like 2-3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Right? And my grandparents, I don't think they've ever been to Japan.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of crazy. So although, yes, we are Japanese, it's like the local culture.
It's the local. It's the local.
I think so, yeah.
It's just keep it local.
Yeah. And I think it's just your core values and beliefs as a family or as whoever raised you, right?
Definitely. Yeah, interesting. I'm always interested in like how because you learn a lot by just watching people and seeing how they interact in different environments. You know, just like you bring a friend over and you see like they're not helping cleaning up, or they just like leave a dish in the sink or whatever, and you can kind of tell like how people were raised just by those little things. Like a lot of my friends' parents like loved me. Like when I would come over and they're like, ooh,
Like,
He's cleaning up everything. He's like, oh, Jared, just put the fabric softener in the left side. Okay, thank you.
yeah. Next time they invite me, not my friend. No, I'm just kidding. Just come
like,
clean, Jared. No.
Oh, look, Jared, he's mowing the lawn now. Wow, that's so nice of him. Awesome. Okay. What is the worst advice you've ever received?
Oh, the worst advice. Huh. That is another tough one. I feel like the cheesy answer to say is like, there's never bad advice. Like I've learned from everything, whether it was bad or not. I think I wouldn't necessarily consider advice, but ideas and advice, I've said it before, is dime a dozen. And especially when you're in the business startup world, everyone has an opinion and they think that they know best in a certain sense. And I think when I was younger, I would take whatever I heard kind of to heart. Because it's like, hey, these guys have been there, they've done it. Maybe they're, more seasoned investors now because they succeeded so much. But the market is constantly changing. Mm-hmm. Like, from technology is so much different than it used to be. But back then, so I would say, I got a lot of advice. I mean, it was meant in the best way possible. Mm-hmm. But a lot of this business stuff, you can't know, Everyone has ideas, but it comes down to actually you as a business owner have to make decisions like take it with a grain of salt or you're right. Actually, that makes a lot of sense and I'm going to go with you.
I can see how it could be hard to take it though. It's like I said, nobody thinks they have an ugly baby. It's like somebody telling you how to raise your kid.
Right. Mm-hmm. To a certain extent.
Yeah.
But a little different because like these are people maybe you look up to or these are people that you like have high respect for, so almost to the point where if I didn't do it, they might feel disrespected. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm. So I wouldn't say it's bad advice by any means, and it's not meant to be, but it's not always going to be right.
Okay.
So I guess the lesson that comes out of that is like you have to make your own choices at the end of the day because everyone's going to have advice or thoughts. But it's your life, it's your business, whatever it might be. So you want to take control of that.
Okay, cool. What keeps you up at night?
Insomnia. No, just no, but I'm not gonna lie. And then I guess we can get a little into this, but one thing that I've learned last year, as you know, really hard, like balance is very important. Mm-hmm. I think I took my health for granted, and doing business now for, I don't know, 8 years, 7, and going really hard at it. I think it all just kind of caught up to me. So with that, I guess what keeps me up at night is, well, one, knowing that there's so much to be done for the company and that, I'm a part of a team that is counting on me for a lot of different things. So, one of my biggest fears is letting people down, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to not let them down. But kind of circling back to my health, I had like what they call a coronary artery spasm back in 2018. And it's basically like a heart attack with no permanent damage. So the feelings, the symptoms was a heart attack. Like literally, I woke up in the morning, weird chest feeling, started getting nauseous, my arm started giving out, and then I started Googling. I'm like, oh shit, I think I have a heart attack. Mm-hmm. Jumped in my car, drove to the nearest hospital, which was Kapiolani Women's and Children's Hospital. Mm-hmm. And basically I was told, I think I'm having a heart attack. And for a while, they weren't sure. Then they hooked me up, and then the doctor came in. People started running. He's like, "You're having a heart attack." Oh. And I was like, "This is what? I was 27, maybe 20." I was, and so it was crazy. And they had to transfer me to Straub because it's only women's and children's there, no cardio. But by the time I got there, it was about 43 minutes, and I was fine. Like nothing ever happened.
What?
Yeah. So they're all confused because they were like, you're having a heart attack, and they were prepared for a heart attack when I got there, but I was totally fine. So they kept me overnight, checked me out, and basically they said, we believe it was a coronary artery spasm. So it's like a cramp for your heart. And normally it takes like seconds or maybe minutes, but mine lasted 43 minutes. That's why it was like an actual, like they thought it was a heart attack, But that made me realize a lot of things. And that's why balance, I think, is really important. I did a lot of research because they don't really know why it's caused, but a lot of entrepreneurs actually have it. So they said gastric issues and stress is a cause of this sometimes. Dang. So something to keep in mind. And what keeps me up at night is, along with that comes a lot of anxiety. Whenever I get anxiety or any chest pain, I just feel like I might be having a heart problem again.
It's like
So,
PTSD.
yeah,
in a
really,
sense,
it is kind of like PTSD from that occurrence. So sometimes that does keep me up at night, which sucks. But something I'm working on.
Yeah.
And as you know, last year I really tried to focus on my health. I did every test you could think of, like from a spinal tap to brain MRI. It's wild. But health is everything.
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth, man. At that moment of unsurety when it comes to your health, nothing else matters.
Definitely. All the money in the world don't matter.
No, I was willing to give, not that I have much, but I was willing to give
I'm willing
everything.
to give all the $30.14 in my bank account.
Yeah, all my debt.
I'm willing to get all my debt back.
Yeah. But it also made me realize during that moments of like I feeling I could die.
Yeah.
Was like, I got so much more to do.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
so yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, yeah, let's all focus on our health. We gotta go play basketball sometime.
Yeah.
You gotta get into surfing.
Yeah.
That's the best medicine.
I get some neck problems now.
Yeah. Okay. At what time of the day do you get your best work done?
So because my sleep has been affecting me lately, a late night has been really, really good for me. Good and bad, I guess, in that sense, right? But because I can't sleep, I end up working, burning that midnight oil, working kind of late, which I don't necessarily recommend. But that's also when I have no meetings. I have more time to just focus on like work, because having meetings and meeting people, partnerships, that is work. Don't get me wrong. But then there's work, you know what I mean? Where you're just grinding behind your computer and getting stuff done. So, I would say if I'm awake and don't have meetings, it's in the morning from like 9 to 12. But if I didn't sleep that well, my sleep's not perfect, then time's not late at night. That's when nothing else is distracting me, basically. My girlfriend's sleeping and I am just grinding it out.
Definitely. Okay. I like working like right before bed too. Which sometimes I think isn't the best because your brain has to shut off.
Dude,
but,
totally.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like if I'm awake, might as well be. Anyways,
Okay. I was just thinking, we do have this one thing with Hawaiiverse, this game that we're working on that we haven't really announced anywhere. I was just thinking maybe should we announce it? Or should we maybe keep it on
No,
the
I
wraps
think we can announce it. We can announce it a little bit. We're working on it. It's going to take some time, but we are working on a game.
Should we give them a little sneak peek?
Give them a sneak peek. Come on, go.
Should we say the name? Or like, I don't know. I'm trying to think how much we should
so the
share.
originators were my friends Scott and David, and, they just came up with this, and we kind of implemented on it, and we're going to try to make it happen. So, it's called Mocabs.
Mocabs, like Mad Gabs, but the local version.
Yeah, and it's super
cool.
fun. We've done it.
Yeah.
Even better with some drinks. But I think a lot of people will really enjoy it. So we're working on it.
Yes. I had to do a guest lecture at UH a couple weeks ago, and I played it with the students, and they loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
it's really cool. So stay tuned for that. And it's like all local phrases. And super fun. So if you're listening right now, you just got the first exclusive sneak peek.
Yep.
Okay. What is something that you wish people knew about you that they don't? Maybe something people misunderstand about you.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's one of my favorite questions to ask.
Well, I guess they'll know a lot more about me now after this podcast.
I have nothing left to hide.
Right. I guess let me think.
You're a low key freak athlete. If he was 5 inches taller, he would be in the league.
Oh, I wish I was taller now. But no, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Yeah.
So you have
so that I wish people knew about me.
Everyone knows everything already.
No, I'm pretty much an open book, man. Like, people ask, I'm going to answer to, whatever it would be. Well, I guess, okay, this is one thing, maybe. It's, especially even you with all the accolades and stuff that you mentioned and my background, people think that I've made it or I'm there. In reality, it's like, it's a grind. Even if you're on these magazines or whatever, it doesn't necessarily equate to money, let's say. It's not that money means everything. It's just that
success in that way
is a lot different. So I guess a lot of people that don't understand the industry might think that you know, oh, Jared's good already. Like, it's all good. He has it all figured out. When in reality, I do not. You know, I wish I did. I thought I would figure it out by 32, but no, I'm far from it. I think, you know. So yeah, I think that would be it. If there was something that I wish people understood better about me, would probably be that.
I feel that. Yeah, that's a great answer. Because yeah, same. I think about that all the time. It's like, oh, I did Peace Corps, I did Race to 50K. We got Hawaiiverse, the podcast, been on the news multiple times, newspaper, everything.
Awards, yeah.
Dang, I can barely afford rent.
Yeah, same. You know,
it's like you said, it's a grind. Yeah, it's tough living in Hawaii. Like,
so I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying well, I personally understood what I was getting myself into from the start.
Same.
There's obviously other ways to do it. Like, you could get a job and save up money and then take the risk. It's just how risk adverse everyone is, you know?
Yeah. I love where I'm at least, like I probably made like $30,000 in the last 2 years or something like that, but every year it keeps going up.
That's the main thing.
And like it's the sacrifice that like I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in what we're doing, and I know at some point it will pay off. And this is a proof of it paying off. I mean, we got sponsors.
Yeah, it's getting there.
And for Hawaiiverse, we got a mobile app. We got so many big things in the works right now that we can't even announce here yet. Not mocap's, but other things. Yeah. So yeah, future millionaires.
You gotta believe in it, man. That's what it is, and
speak it into existence, write it down, execute.
Game on. I like it.
Okay. What are you most grateful for?
I'm most grateful for my family.
You got a good family.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
It's just
Kilo, that's why.
I just really appreciate everything that they've done for me, and I'm sure they sacrificed a lot for me as well, and they support me in anything that I do. Doesn't necessarily have to be financially, but like just believing in me, being there for me. I could not be where I'm at with my mom, dad, sister, everyone, grandpa, everybody, my aunties, uncles. So just super grateful for the upbringing that I've had, and I don't take it for granted. And I hope they know that.
Yes. If they don't, now they do.
Yeah, exactly. And my girlfriend, of course. Very grateful for her. She's part of the family already, so it's
great
kind of
chef, great cook,
amazing, the best.
Okay, what is a question you wish I asked today?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, it's the first time ever asking it.
Before that, though, I want to say I'm grateful for my team.
Hey.
Everybody in the Hawaiiverse scene, Callie, Taylor, Kamaka, like, there's no way we could have done it without
our little minions.
Jordan. Yeah, everybody. Okay, cool. What did I wish you asked that you didn't ask? Oh, let me think. Honestly, I mean, you're great at what you do. You asked a lot of great questions. I'm hoping you can pull all these little nuggets out of me, if possible. I do think there's probably some more business things you could probably pull out of me if you ask the right questions.
I'm not a business guy. I'm just an idea guy.
I know. So I don't want to answer myself questions.
Yeah, but okay. So what is? Because it's one of the things that I'm not very well versed in is business. So what is a question that you think I should ask for a future guest?
Yeah. I think a good question would be more for, I guess, certain advice in certain things. Like, maybe, what do you think helps a business succeed?
Okay. What do you think helps a business succeed? That's also because it's a very open-ended question. Because there really is no answer for that. I mean, I think even though I vetted 2,000 companies at Blue Startups, I know a lot about what not to do, but not necessarily exactly what needs to be done or can guarantee success in a certain way. But I would say, one thing is execution. Like I said, ideas are dime a dozen. It comes down to execution. Your team. Like you said, we fit very well, and I've learned that from previous companies. You don't want to start a business with your friend just because they're your friend and they believe in your business. I mean, sometimes it works out, but a lot of times, if you guys are both leaders, let's call it, then it might get hard, right? Or if you're both technical, right? Then there's no. So kind of fill the gaps and don't just do it to do it. Also, I think timing has a lot to do with business.
Some people say, I'm afraid to start my business because of X, Y, and Z, or there's responsibilities or financial, and that's totally fine. And what I say to that is, if the business model or the market has to be done now, then do it.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't have to be done now, like it's not based upon the market, like there's this opportunity that's available in the next 6 months. If there isn't that, then you do what you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And do it to the point where you are comfortable to leave. But understand that your business, in my opinion, will not flourish and scale and succeed the way you want it to without going all in.
Nice.
And also investors won't invest in you unless you go all in.
Yeah.
So I think
gotta have skin in the game.
You gotta have skin in the game, and like if they're giving you money, they want to see you give your time and your effort.
I feel like I learned a lot of these like not catchphrases, these sayings from you, like skin in the game. Yeah. All ships rise with the tide.
Yeah, all this jargon.
All the jargon.
Yeah. But which is really great.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Before we end the podcast, I gotta know, what is your life hack?
My life hack. What's funny is like I feel like I have a lot of life hacks, but then I was trying to think of some last night, and it's so hard.
There's a lot.
There are a lot. Because a lot of it's just advice, not necessarily life hack.
Basically advice.
So a life hack, I would say, and maybe this is common, but if you have to like clean the garage or like sweep anything outside, it took me some years to learn this, but just use the leaf blower. And it's more fun.
Yeah.
and two, it's like way easier.
Yeah.
So like work smarter. Not harder. But I also don't believe that. I mean, I think there's times to work smarter, sometimes to work harder.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that you should be doing both.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the case of working smarter, not harder for that case.
I love that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you got to get out of here. So I just have my last fast fave 5 questions, okay? Favorite childhood snack?
Ooh. Doritos, huh?
What's it? Jordan just made a
or
noise.
I mean, unless it's like homemade stuff, like my grandma's energy bars are top notch.
What is it? The beef, party mix?
The Kushi Creations beef jerky is unreal.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like I have so much good food because my family is just amazing cooks. Kushi Creations is unreal.
The party mix that you.
The party. Oh yeah, that's so good too.
Yeah.
So there's so many.
Okay, favorite travel destination?
Oh, I would say New Zealand.
Ooh.
From everywhere.
You just went from Australia to New Zealand.
Yeah, because it's so close, and I feel like New Zealand is a good combination of Hawaii and like not Hawaii.
Yeah,
way. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Favorite book?
This kind of sound kind of funny, because yes, there's all those like self-help books and stuff and business books, but the one book that stands out to me, and I like this from elementary time, is Hatchet by Gary Paulson.
I don't know that book.
It's like a survival book, and I don't know, I just like survival stuff. And
Wait, survival, like he was out in the wilderness and he had to survive? Or?
Yeah, he got lost in the wilderness. I think it was
real story.
I can't remember, to be honest, and it's been a while since I read it last. But I think there's some kind of accident, like a plane or something, and he had to survive.
Wow. Interesting.
Find his way out. And it's funny, actually, for I guess an assignment, I actually wrote a book similar to that for one of my classes. Yeah, like my own version of it.
That's cool. Yeah, Surviving Waikea High School by Jared Kushi. Okay, favorite date night restaurant?
Ooh, I mean, gotta be somewhere in Hilo, right?
I don't know. When we just went to Rangoon, just me and you, without our girlfriends.
Me and you. Yeah, that was pretty good. Rangoon, just between me and you, man.
That place was
that was really good.
Yeah.
But a good date spot, huh? So my girlfriend and I are foodies because she's a chef, an amazing chef. So it's hard because she cooks some amazing food for me.
Oh, give the smart answer then.
Yeah, I mean the best date is at home, and you save money.
Yeah, anything that Christine cooks.
But I'm also supporting local.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, here's a tough one. Favorite local business?
Hawaiiverse.
Good answer.
And that was an easy one.
Good answer.
It encompasses thousands of businesses.
Okay. Well, list off some of your like favorite businesses.
Favorite businesses? It's on my head, huh?
Top of head, just Hilo, Oahu, anywhere, Maui, Kauai, Kaolave.
Well, Hilo. I mean, I like the Most Irresistible Shop, Louis Claire Boutique.
How do businesses under you?
Some of my clients. No, but for real, I mean, up here, Studio Mini Clothing is great.
Yeah.
For food, I mean, Cafe 100, Furnace.
Mm-hmm.
there's just so many good places, honestly, in Hilo, and
Yeah,
just gems.
check it out on the Hawaiiverse app.
Yeah, check it on the Hawaiiverse
And if you're not
app.
on the Hawaiiverse app, or if they're not on the Hawaiiverse app, get them on.
Bing.
Okay. Well, that's all we have today. Mahalo for, talking stories with me. This was a long time coming, so I'm happy we got to do this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, and I hope Keep It Aloha does what you want it to do,
Yeah, and it's going to just work together with the whole community, with Hawaiiverse, and it's going to be hopefully the best podcast to ever come out of Hawaii.
And thank you, everybody, for supporting local.
Yes, definitely. Where can we find you, and where can we find Hawaiiverse?
I mean, I'm not too big on my Instagram, but my Instagram's Kushi22. And more importantly, Hawaiiverse. At Hawaiiverse for everything.
Yes.
Yeah, follow it, check it out, support, help spread the word. We really, really appreciate it. And it really makes a difference.
Definitely. I don't think you've posted something on Instagram in like 2 years. I think I just checked it.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. My excuse is like, hey, when you have a girlfriend, like, you don't need to. Like,
exactly. And busy running a businesses.
Yeah, that's just one more task to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, mahalo, Jared, for joining us on the Keep It Aloha podcast. Spread aloha, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. New episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and remember to always keep it aloha.